Well, good evening, everybody. This is September 18th, 2012. Couldn't really let this day kind of go by here without bringing up something in case you guys can't figure this out. This is Psycho's Platters in a CD, episode 4. That's right. We're already up to this already. Special Jimi Hendrix episode. For a man that, I've read several books on Mr. Hendrix himself. I just still cannot get over that, technically, even though he got started in sessioning and gigging with people like Little Richard, the Isley Brothers, and other musicians as well, going back to, if I remember correctly, 1961. That's a long for him back anyway. And to go and have to go to England, okay, in 66. All right, after being, well, sorry to say, a nobody, really. I mean, he was on the peripheral for 61 to 66. And then if it wasn't for Chaz Chandler from the Animals, who turned into his manager and discovered him and said, hey, let's go to England. I think we can wow him over there. And boy, oh boy, did he. Everybody was going, huh? The Beatles, Eric Clapton, Pete Townsend, and other various sorts. And of course, that's how he ended up, through auditions, ending up with, boy, I'm telling you, I'm really tired today. Mitch Mitchell and Noel Redding, okay? And, that, of course, came into flux, the classic albums. My favorites, of course, are Electric Ladyland and Are You Experienced? Axis Bold as Love is cool, too. But to go, from that lineup to, I guess, Noel Redding had issues, and so he left, and Mitch was there. So you get, Billy Cox, former Army buddy of Hendrix, to come on in and jam with them, and then Mitch left. I guess, he was a friend to the end pretty much for Jimmy, but he just decided to, it was shifting to a different thing, so he left, and so Billy Cox comes in on drums. If I remember correctly, no, excuse me, not Billy Cox, I'm an idiot. Buddy Miles, former Electric Flag drummer, and he really is a good drummer as well. Well, God rest his soul. A lot of them are pretty much gone. But I thought I'd show you a couple albums that I've picked up over the years involving our favorite Mr. Hendrix. By the way, if you have a chance, go on YouTube and check out, because I did this a day or two ago. Jimmy, when he died on the 18th of September in 70, he died early in the morning, if I remember correctly, like 7, 8 a.m. or something like that. He was at a club at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning that day, and somebody had a tape rolling. War happened to be playing at a club in London, and Jimmy jammed with them. Tobacco Road, and I think one other song. And you know what? It wasn't really bad for a tape, but it's just kind of eerie to know that several hours later he's going to be dead. Also, everybody knows I'm a Monkees fan. Mike Nesmith was actually one of the last few people to actually see him alive as well at that club too. So, okay, what do I happen to have first? Does anybody really remember this from 1972? Jimi Hendrix, they did a documentary. It's actually a pretty neat documentary. I have to apologize. I do not know if this is on DVD. I have the VHS copy of this. Really, really neat. I mean, but you're talking about here. Let me show you the gatefold on this sucker. Kind of neat. You got your performances here to show you some pictures. Pretty much here. You have various performances culled from basically from, well, 66 to 70 pretty much. You're still looking at your typical stuff. Hey Joe, Red House, Purple Haze, Johnny B. Good, Like a Rolling Stone. That's kind of interesting. Of course, Star Spangled Banner. You know, I cannot hear that song without thinking of Jimmy's version. That's just a big thing. His version of Wild Thing, Machine Gun. I actually like Hear My Train A-Comin'. That's one of my favorites, actually. They show that in the movie. And here's one of them, for example. Of course, on the original Upside Down reprise from 1972, your typical Brown label as well. Like I said, it's really an enjoyable double album. I'm not quite sure if that one is on CD or not. Going from that particular one to another 1972 release, was a popular year for him, on reprise, Into the West. This one's alright too, I will confess. You got yourself a gatefold. At least they were smart enough to give us gatefolds. And that's your picture in on this one. Okay. Basic, you got a nice performance shot in red tinted light. Also, show you here, another original reprise. That's right. Decent condition too. I snagged these. I don't know sometimes how I end up with such fortune, I guess, to find these things. The thrift shops, seriously, most of the time it's thrift shops and garage sales for me. I bet you it is for most of you people in the vinyl community too. With this one here in particular, once again you've got a little instrumental here from the Queen, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I love that version. No, John Lennon's not on it. That was something for years that everybody was figuring out. Loverman's another good one here. His version of Blue Suede Shoes. Voodoo Child, one of my favorites as well. How about Crash Landing? Most people forget about this one, and I gotta confess, it's not one of his better ones. This one's from 1975, okay? No gatefold on this one. You can really actually barely see him. It's kind of fuzzy, but it's in a brown tone. Let's see here. This one, though, Polydor. Now, this is an English import, though. Surprise! Yeah, they used to do that from time to time too. I have to apologize. I didn't get a chance to find this one, but I do happen to have a German import as well of a Hendrix album from the 70s. Now, here's the thing, though. Okay, he did so much from 66 to 70. He didn't get to finish everything. Okay, so sometimes they'd have studio musicians finish what he could. Or should I say couldn't finish. So they would end up getting other musicians. On this one particularly here, Bob Babbitt, who was a late 60s, early 70s Motown bassist. He did a lot of recordings. Up to, in fact, he passed away in July. He also played sometimes in the backing band of American Idol. Go figure. And lastly, Alan Schwartzberg, session drummer, pretty much known for 1974's Mountains Twin Peaks album. He also was on Gene and Peter's solo Kiss albums and on The Elder. Go figure. Love that album. Underrated. So, you know what? Just find your Hendrix. Crank it to 11, please. It's one of those days for it. You know, I miss him. I still miss him. He was 3 when I died. But so what? The music lives on, right? Thank God the music lives on. Like I said, crank it to 11 today, kids. It's a good day to do it. Take care. God bless. See ya next episode.